You're in the shower. Hot water's running down your back, steam's filling the room, and you're just standing there, not thinking about anything in particular. Maybe humming a little, maybe wondering if you left the stove on. And then it hits you. That solution to the problem you've been stuck on for weeks. That perfect opening line for the thing you're writing. That answer that was hiding just out of reach. Suddenly, it's right there. Crystal clear. Obvious. You practically jump out of the shower to write it down before it disappears. What the hell just happened? Because here's the weird thing. You weren't even trying to solve that problem. You were literally just washing your hair. So where did that idea come from? Why does your brain do its best work when you're doing your dumbest stuff? Turns out, there's actual science behind this. And it's way more interesting than just shower thoughts are magic. Your brain has these two completely different modes of operation, and most of us spend our entire lives stuck in the wrong one. Let me show you what's really happening up there, and why creativity might not be what you think it is at all. Okay, so let's start with what we think creativity is. Because most people have this image in their head, right? The lone genius. The artist struck by divine inspiration. The scientist having a sudden breakthrough. Like ideas just appear fully formed, gifted from the universe to special people. That's a nice story. It's also complete nonsense. Creativity isn't magic. It's not even rare. It's a process, a very specific neurological process that's happening in your brain all the time. You just don't notice it, because most of the work happens when you're not paying attention. Let's zoom into your brain for a second and see what's actually going on. Your brain has roughly 86 billion neurons, each one connected to thousands of others. That's trillions of connections firing constantly, creating this massive network of electrical signals and chemical reactions. And somewhere in that chaos, ideas form. But how? Well, here's the thing. Your brain doesn't really invent new ideas. It remixes old ones. It takes concepts you already know, memories, experiences, facts, feelings, and it starts connecting them in new ways. Smashing them together, seeing what fits. It's less like creation and more like combinatorial evolution, trial and error at the speed of thought. And this process? It requires two very different modes of thinking. Neuroscientists call them focused mode and diffuse mode, and understanding the difference between them, that's basically the entire secret to creativity. Focused mode is probably what you're in right now. It's conscious, deliberate thinking. You're paying attention to these words. You're following the logic. Your brain is in a narrow, concentrated state. This mode is amazing for certain things. Analyzing, computing, following steps, solving problems where you already know the rules. Like, if I asked you to multiply 27 times 13, you'd switch into focused mode and work through it systematically. Your prefrontal cortex lights up during focused mode. That's the CEO of your brain, the part that makes decisions, controls attention, follows logical sequences. It's powerful, it's precise, but it's also limited, narrow. When you're in focused mode, your brain is following established neural pathways, using connections it's already built, going down roads it's traveled before. It's really good at finding the right answer. It's terrible at finding new answers. Now, diffuse mode, that's different. That's when your brain loosens up, spreads out, stops following the familiar pathways and starts wandering around making weird connections. Your prefrontal cortex relaxes. Other parts of your brain start talking to each other, regions that normally don't communicate much. The temporal lobe starts chatting with the parietal cortex. Your memory centers connect with your emotional processing areas. It's like someone turned off the office lights, and now random people from different departments are bumping into each other in the hallway. having conversations they'd never have during normal work hours. And that's where ideas come from those weird, unexpected connections, from your brain saying, hey, wait, what if this thing over here is related to this other thing over there? What if we combine them? This is diffuse mode, and you can't force it. You can't think your way into it, because the whole point is not thinking, not trying, just letting your brain wander. So why the shower? Why not during your commute or while you're eating lunch? Because the shower hits this perfect sweet spot of conditions that trigger diffuse mode. First, you're relaxed. The warm water, the familiar routine, your stress levels drop. Your prefrontal cortex stops gripping so tight. Your mind can wander. Second, you're doing something mindless. You don't have to think about washing your hair. Your body just does it automatically. So your conscious mind is free, unoccupied, available for your unconscious mind to start throwing ideas at it. Third, and this is key, there are no distractions, no phone, no laptop, no one talking to you, just you and the water. You can't escape into distraction. So your brain starts entertaining itself, pulling up random memories, making weird connections. And fourth, there's something about the sensory experience itself, the white noise of the water, the physical sensation. It creates this gentle, rhythmic stimulation that seems to be perfect for creative thinking. It's boring enough that you stop focusing, but engaging enough that you don't fall asleep. Your brain slips into diffuse mode, and suddenly, boom, ideas. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about showers. This pattern shows up everywhere in creative work. Isaac Newton's famous apple moment? He was sitting under a tree, not working, just sitting. His mind was in diffuse mode when gravity clicked. Albert Einstein used to take long walks when he got stuck on problems. He'd wander around Princeton for hours, not thinking about physics, just walking, letting his mind drift. And that's when the breakthroughs would come. Paul McCartney woke up one morning with the entire melody for Yesterday in his head. He wasn't trying to write a song, he was sleeping. His brain was in ultimate diffuse mode. Archimedes discovered water displacement while taking a bath, literally just sitting in water, not working, and his brain made the connection. There's this pattern throughout history. The big ideas don't come during the work. They come during the breaks, during the boring parts, when you stop trying. And that's not coincidence. That's how the brain works. Let me show you what's happening at the neural level, because it's actually kind of beautiful. When you're working on a problem in focused mode, you're strengthening specific neural pathways. You're going, okay, brain, this connects to this, which connects to this. You're building roads, but sometimes the problem you're trying to solve, the answer isn't on any of those roads. It's somewhere else entirely, in a different neighborhood, a place your conscious mind hasn't thought to look. And when you shift into diffuse mode, when you stop trying so hard, your brain starts activating this network called the default mode network, the DMN. This is a set of brain regions that fire up when you're not focused on anything specific, when you're daydreaming, mind-wandering, doing nothing. And here's the wild part. The default mode network is way more active than scientists expected. It's burning almost as much energy as focused thinking. Your brain isn't resting during diffuse mode. It's working, just differently. It's running simulations, playing with memories, making random associations. It's taking all the pieces you've been thinking about and shaking them up like a snow globe, seeing what patterns emerge. And sometimes, it finds something, a connection you missed, a pattern you didn't see, an answer that was always there. You just weren't looking at it right. That's the aha moment. That's the shower thought. It's not inspiration from nowhere. It's your unconscious brain finishing a problem your conscious brain couldn't solve. Here's the thing though, and this is crucial. Diffuse mode can't work alone. You can't just sit in the shower all day waiting for brilliant ideas. The ideas come from the interaction between both modes. You need focused mode to load your brain with the raw materials, facts, questions, challenges. You need to work on the problem first. You need to get stuck. You need to exhaust the obvious pathways. Then you switch to diffuse mode. You let go, you do something else. And your unconscious mind takes over, remixing everything you just loaded into it. It's like focused mode plants the seeds. Diffuse mode grows them. You need both. This is why cramming doesn't work for learning. Why forcing yourself to stay focused for hours on end is actually counterproductive. Why the best creative work happens when you alternate between intense focus and complete relaxation. Your brain needs time to process, to consolidate, to make connections, and it can only do that when you step back. There's this amazing study they did with problem solving. They gave people a really hard puzzle. Let them work on it for a while. Most people got stuck. Then they split them into groups. One group kept working on the puzzle, just kept grinding, trying to force a solution. The other group took a break. They did something completely unrelated, played a simple video game or watched a video, just distracted themselves for a bit. Then both groups came back to the puzzle. And guess what? The group that took a break solved it way more often, like significantly more often. Their brains had kept working on the problem in the background, in diffuse mode, making connections they couldn't make in focused mode. The people who just kept grinding, they stayed stuck because they were using the same thinking that got them stuck in the first place. You can't think your way out of a thinking problem. So what does this mean practically? Like, how do you actually use this? Well, first off, stop feeling guilty about breaks. Stop thinking that if you're not actively working, you're being lazy. Your brain needs downtime. It needs boring moments. It needs space to wander. Some of the most productive thing you can do is nothing. Just sit there. Stare at the wall. Let your mind drift. Go for a walk without your phone. Take a shower without solving problems. Just be. Give your brain permission to enter diffuse mode. Second, pay attention to when your best ideas come. Most people have patterns. Maybe it's in the shower. Maybe it's on your commute. Maybe it's right before you fall asleep or right when you wake up. Figure out your personal creativity windows. Those moments when your brain naturally shifts into diffuse mode. And then, protect those moments. Don't fill them with podcasts or music or scrolling. Let them be boring. Let your mind wander. Third, and this is the hard part, learn to work in cycles. Intense focus, then complete release. Don't try to maintain focus for 8 straight hours. Your brain can't do it. You'll just burn out and accomplish less. Work hard for 90 minutes, then take a real break. Not a check your phone break. A stare out the window and do absolutely nothing break. Let your brain shift modes. There's this other thing too, about where you work, your environment. Steve Jobs designed Pixar's offices specifically to force people to run into each other randomly. He put the bathrooms in the center of the building so everyone had to walk past everyone else, on purpose, because he understood that creativity comes from unexpected collisions, different perspectives smashing together. Your brain works the same way internally. The more diverse your inputs, books you read, people you talk to, experiences you have, the more raw material your brain has to remix in diffuse mode. Creativity isn't about being original, it's about being connected. The more dots you have, the more possible connections. The more connections, the more ideas. This is why polymaths, people who know about lots of different things, tend to be more creative. Not because they're smarter, because they have more material to work with, more weird combinations. Leonardo da Vinci studied anatomy, engineering, art, mathematics, geology, botany, everything. And his genius came from connecting things that seemed unrelated, seeing patterns across domains. That only works if you know multiple domains. Let's zoom back for a second and look at what this means on a bigger scale. Because this isn't just about personal productivity or having good ideas. This is about how human knowledge advances, how we solve the big problems. Every major breakthrough in history came from someone making a connection nobody else saw. Someone combining ideas from different fields, someone letting their mind wander into unexplored territory. Darwin's theory of evolution came from combining biology with economics. He was reading Malthus when the pieces clicked. The structure of benzene was discovered when a chemist had a dream about a snake eating its own tail. His unconscious mind solved a chemistry problem using imagery from mythology. The Post-it note was invented because someone at 3M was frustrated that bookmarks kept falling out of his hymnal. He connected a failed adhesive project with a personal annoyance. Random connection, billion-dollar product. These weren't people trying harder. These were people who let their brains make unexpected connections. Here's maybe the most important thing, though. We've built a world that's hostile to diffuse mode, that's designed to keep you in focused mode constantly, or worse, in distracted mode, which is neither focused nor diffuse, just fragmented. Your phone buzzes, email notifications, Slack messages, YouTube videos, podcasts, music, constant input, constant stimulation. Your brain never gets quiet, never gets bored, never wanders. And without wandering, there's no creativity, no new connections, no ideas. You're stuck with the same thoughts you already have, going down the same neural pathways, again and again. Boredom is fertile. Boredom is creative. Boredom is when your brain gets to play. And we've eliminated it. We've filled every possible moment with something, anything. We're terrified of being alone with our thoughts, so we never let it happen. And then we wonder why we're not more creative, why we feel stuck, why we can't solve our problems. There's this paradox at the heart of creativity. To be creative, you have to work, you have to focus, you have to load your brain with material, you have to try, you have to struggle. But then, you have to stop. You have to let go. You have to trust that your brain will keep working when you're not watching, that the answer will come when you stop searching for it. It's like trying to remember someone's name. The harder you try, the more it slips away. But the moment you stop trying, there it is. Your unconscious mind is smarter than your conscious mind in a lot of ways. It has access to more information, makes connections faster, sees patterns you miss. But it only works when you get out of the way. So maybe creativity isn't about being special. Maybe it's about being patient, about trusting the process, about giving your brain the space it needs to do what it does naturally. Load it up with focused work, then let it wander. Then come back, check what it found, load it up again, let it wander again. It's a cycle, a rhythm, not a straight line, not a grind. A dance between effort and release. And the beautiful thing is, everyone can do this. This isn't some rare gift. It's how brains work. Your brain works this way, right now. It's already doing this. You just have to stop getting in its way. Looking at the big picture, we are connection-making machines. That's what consciousness might actually be, this ability to link disparate pieces of information and see patterns, to remix reality into something new. Every thought you have is creative, every conversation, every dream. Your brain is constantly making new connections, constantly generating ideas. Most of them are boring or useless. But that's okay. That's the process. Generate lots of combinations. Keep the good ones. Creativity isn't rare. It's constant. It's happening right now as you listen to this. Your brain is making connections between these words and your memories, your experiences, your knowledge. It's creating meaning, creating understanding, creating new thoughts that didn't exist a moment ago. That's creativity. That's what brains do. So, where do good ideas come from? They come from everywhere. From the shower, from walks, from conversations, from books, from boredom, from sleep, from staring at walls. But really, they come from you, from your brain doing what it was designed to do. Connecting things, finding patterns, making sense of chaos. You just have to give it room to work, space to wander, permission to be bored. Your next great idea is already in there somewhere. All the pieces are floating around in your unconscious. They just need time to bump into each other, time to click. So maybe take a shower, or a walk, or just sit there, stare at nothing, think about nothing. Your brain will handle the rest. It always does.
What?